Welcome back to Where Rams Walk. Well, you win some, you lose some, but some fans are concerned just how many are Derby going to be losing in the manner which they did at Watford. Is this football good enough? Defence for 85 minutes? Well, we've got some fans lined up to answer that very question. Welcome to Where Rams Walk.
Yes, we are Derby County, and we'll go straight back home.
Thank you very much for joining us. We know there's lots of Derby County content around, but we are the quickest, most compact review of what happens each week across Derby County Football Club. We have John, Peyton, Darren, Tom, and Lewis here to review everything that's just gone on. So we're going to look at the Watford game. We're going to talk about the visit of Bristol City, and of course it's deadline day as well. Ahead of recording this for the Friday deadline, what do Derby County need? What has to be signed for this to be a good window? We'll be asking these fans, and please obviously ask your comments below. Right then, John, let's start with you. What were the positives from the Watford game?
Positives: we had a foothold in the game. It was we were a bit low, admittedly, but positively, like I said, we were in a game. They battered sides, spanked sides, 3-0, 11 goals scored previous to playing us. The stats, okay, we give up possession, but we're gonna give up possession. Well, obviously, we're trying to transit through the thirds. What I did like is in the second half, we mixed it up with the goalkeeper distribution. We looked for percentages, but we also looked to play football through the thirds to beat their first press. So obviously that's something they're working on. Shots wise, we had 8 shots, 3 on target. Touches in the box, we had 19, they had 21. So frustratingly, we lost 2-1, but we're in a game, and I think we can build on that. Yes, these negatives, but I'm not going to talk about it. But the goals they scored, they were both disappointing. The first one was a worldie, and the second one was just a lucky. But positively, yes, it's things that were good, and I know where we need to improve. It's just impact off the bench. That's where we need to improve, I think.
Okay. Thanks, John. We'll get to rate my take in a minute, Peyton, and you won't be surprised to hear that it wasn't very positive on social media, and most of the comments were coming about whether people can stomach watching this away game set up for another 22 games. Where do you sit on this defence against attack style, which early days we know, but it seems as if that's the way that Derby are going to set up, especially away from home?
I mean, what John was saying, we were in the game. Watford have battered teams better than us by a fair margin, and we conceded 2 to them. And on another day, we could have got a draw. On another day, we could have won. I think seeing the fact that we defend really well, even with maybe not amazing players, is good to see. It's just the fact that we need to make more of the chances that we do have, and we need someone to step up and get the goals when it comes to that, instead of having, James Collins coming off the bench, someone who, not ever really been amazing in the Championship. Great League One player, but he's not Championship level. We just need more. But with more, we get there, don't we?
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Peyton. Darren, do fans need to adjust their expectations a little bit here? Because I think because the name Derby County, and even the Watford fans were saying this last time, it doesn't seem like they're playing a newly promoted side. Does that make sense? Even they were saying it's Watford against Derby. It doesn't feel like a team that's been in the league 6 years versus a team that's just coming up. Derby should always be in there, so we forget. You are, new promoted side. So does everyone just need to calm down and change their expectations a little bit? You're not going to win games like this.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very good point, Mark. I mean, I think we said that the other week. I think John was the one who said it's Operation 50, and he's right. You've got to look at it like that. It is a business. Our business is to stay in the championship. We stay in the championship this year. You know, we can strengthen and the money and stuff. So I think you're right. I think fans probably do need to readjust their what they're looking for. It's just yeah, I don't know, but Paul Warren doesn't help things though. I mean, I've just got it here. I've got his post-match comments, and he says, you know, we came with a game plan to try and frustrate Watford. You know, it just sounds negative. You know, it sounds like you're not going to give them a go. You're going to frustrate the other team, and you know, I could see fans getting frustrated with that. You know, it's a hard one. It's a balance between playing really entertaining football and losing 4-0 and trying to play disciplined football. And as the two boys have just said, you know, stay in the game.
Tom, for you, player-wise, who stood out? Who's, you know, well, not sort of man of the match because you lost, but who impressed?
I know we conceded 2 goals, but I was quite impressed with Zetterstrom because I think for like the first 25 minutes of the game he didn't have anything to do, and then they swung a cross in that I wouldn't say was close to him, but he just came out and palmed it away anyway, and I thought it was quite a while since I've seen a keeper for Derby do that and look comfortable doing it anyway. So I guess he looked good, but other than that, I'm struggling.
Struggling. Sorry to cover that one. All right, there's the Preston game then. Sorry, the Bristol City game. Getting ahead of myself now. What needs to change in terms of personnel?
We haven't got anyone else. To be fair, I don't know. I thought, to be fair, Mendes Lang looked good when we finally put him back on the right wing yesterday. Not yesterday, Saturday. So I don't know, because obviously Jackson's contributing, even though Jackson isn't the best footballer, he is coming up with goals and assists. So I don't know. I mean, Mendes Lang's a bit wasted on the left, and he's a better player than Jackson. So I'd probably put him back on the right, and maybe Jackson on the left. I don't know. We haven't got anyone.
Cheers. Away at Barrow then in the Carabao Cup. Is his best option just to play the kids here and just exit this cup as quickly as possible? Sorry, Tom. This is Cheers. Sorry.
Probably going to say the same thing as Tom. To be fair, I don't know. I think a cup run's healthy. I think will Barrow be up for it? Probably. They want to probably scalp us. Why not? I think if we don't go out and win on Tuesday, then it will just add to the anti-Paul Warren factor. I think we need to just go for it. Give players who need to game time. We know there's lads that need match fitness. Use it as that. We've obviously got better quality than Barrow, so let's just use that to our advantage. If we need to bring on the big guns, bring them on. But I think we need to get Barrow, get a result, and whatever happens next, we have. You know, if we draw a Prem team in the next round and we lose, it is what it is. We haven't gone out to, let's say, minnows Barrow, you know, and it just keeps the faith alive a bit longer. And everyone loves a cup run, so.
Anyone going to Barrow? It's a new stadium for most of them, I'd imagine. No.
Not myself.
Do not blame you. Okay. All right. Here's Rate My Take. And I genuinely mean this. I think either I'm talking to the 4 most positive Derby fans or 5 most positive Derby fans each week, or Twitter is just very anti-Warren. I can't find too many people that want him to stay. And maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places. But here's more of Worn Out. All right, on this channel then we have a look at the good and the bad of some of the takes from the Derby County game. We won't look at Norwich, we'll look at Derby instead. John, I liked this one. It's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Fans are still programmed with a League One mentality. Wins will be a rarity. Priority is just to stay in the division. Timmy says, tough fixtures so far. We'll be okay next May. It's better than what I thought it was going to be. Just on that last bit, John, is it better than what you thought it was going to be when the season kicked off?
Yes and no. The only frustration for me has been we've got the 6 goals we've conceded. 4 have been from the impact from the bench. And if you notice, if anyone watched the game yesterday, Cardiff impact of the bench changed it. That's where we need to improve. An ideal, possibly, we could look at the way we choose players. I personally think Liam Thompson should start and maybe put Kenzo onto the bench and see if he can come on and be an impact. The lad we've signed today, he looks like he's a player that play forward or wide. Impact. So that's where we need to improve. Look at the games in 70 minutes into each game into 70 minutes. We've been in every game. So the change for me is how can we change? If we're still in the game of 70 minutes, which I like to think we are, it's coming off the bench, tactic, could be a combination of tactics, intelligence, and I think subs are going to be very key for us this season, learning from the 3 games. But the way I see it, judge it after 10 games. Let's see where we're after 10 games. That's the best bet. League starts to shape up after 10 games, and you know which league you're going to be in. I think there's going to be 3 leagues in this championship this year. So we'll see.
Thanks, John. Darren, rubbish tactics. If he thinks we're going to score and defend for 85 minutes, 5 players in this week, or we will be in a relegation battle. 5. Do you agree with that, Darren?
Tom's got a point. We don't have a massive bench. We said this, I think, on one of our first recordings we did, Mark. We said that the fans are ready to turn. I mean, even though we got promoted automatically, it was a bit ugly last year at times. I myself was part of the worn out camp for a little while, and then I like to think I'm a fairly open-minded person. I thought he was changing things around, so he sort of won me back over, but it's not going to take long because he's so defensive minded. Mark, his mindset is defensive, and so what we tend to have is kind of like 7 sort of defensive outfielders, and then a sort of little sprinkle of kind of speed up front, and hoping that's going to sort of win the game. I don't know about 5 players. I think we'd be lucky if we get in another 2. We did get in a guy today who seems like he's got attacking intent, but he's only 20, so you're kind of you're relying on 20-year-old loan signings. I think we'll probably get another 2 in, hopefully. But yeah, it's not pretty, Mark. It's not pretty football.
And finally, then Tom, Danny says, "Got what he deserves. Scoring 1, defending for 90 minutes is a small club mentality that does not suit Derby and will not keep us up. Hopefully, he's long gone by Christmas." Where are you, Tom, on that train of thought?
I think we all know. I would have never brought him into the club in the first place. When he first came in, I remember tweeting something. It was like, that picture that's like a guy being held up by knives, and it's people saying like, "What's an opinion that had caused this reaction?" or something. I said like, Paul Warne's going to turn us into a Rotherham rather than progress us as an individual club. And not to sort of blow smoke up myself, but I'm pretty sure I hit the nail on the head with that. Because we are literally Rotherham 2.0. We're just playing white in a bigger ground. So yeah, and I looked at the stats yesterday. He's had 139 games now in the Championship as a manager, and his win rate is 20%. So, what as a long-term plan when we brought him in, what were we thinking? I don't understand, because that is a big enough sample size to know whether a manager's cut out for this level or not, and he clearly isn't. So he's got to go. He's got to go for me.
I promise I won't ask this question every single week of you, all of you. I think we're getting to that unanimous point, aren't we? All right then, big week then for Derby. Somebody's already mentioned 5 players that are needed, but Lewis, in all honesty, what has to come in position-wise before that deadline happens on Friday for this to be considered a decent window for Derby?
Personally, I'd like to see another centre-back who, I mean, we fell into the trap of League One where we didn't have that range of player who was sort of mid-20s to early 30s, where they've got that experience. I think we're either plus side of 32 or we're 22 and below. I think having someone of that age history with a experience would be good. Very difficult to sign because actually they need first team football, whatever else. Another attacking option would also be good, but for me, another centre back just give us a bit of option, a bit of strength in the squad.
Okay. Anybody else want to add anything to that? I'll bring Peter back.
Yeah,
I think we lost him.
I don't know what it is, but no one seems to think that we need a left back now. No one seems to talk about that for some reason. All we have is Callum Elder, and he wasn't good enough for us in League One. And now he's had one good game against Middlesbrough, and now it's like left backs off the shopping list now. So we desperately need a proper left wing back. I mean, he was kept out of the team by a 21-year-old attacking midfielder in League One, who we then let go for free. So we absolutely need a left back and probably a right winger, maybe, or a left winger. Just anyone, just someone.
Yeah.
That's four, right? Okay, not far off.
Striker would be good. Striker would be good.
I mean, realistically, it's going to be. We're talking loan signings here. I mean, where are we financially with Derby, Darren? Do we?
Yeah, it's going to be loans, Mark. I think free agents. He keeps mentioning he's got some free agent lined up, and everyone keeps trying to guess who that is. We thought it was going to be Liam Cooper at one point, but so maybe free agents. And I don't know really. It's hard because they've kept the money kind of quiet. What money is available? Apparently, we bid 1.5 million for some Huddersfield player, and that hasn't come through. So there's talk that there might be some money sitting there, but
it was the centre half.
Yeah, I think it'd be loans and maybe a free agent personally.
I mean, we should have some money because we're actually in profit this summer. For us now,
that worries me. That worries me.
We've got the fight, we've got the character, we've shown we can compete in games. You've got to pay out a little bit more money now for a bit of quality. That's what we're lacking. You look at the Watford game, 70 minutes to go. Yeah, we're in a low block, but you know they made subs and went to a back four and they created an impact. Cardiff yesterday brought on two players, very good players, created impact. We've signed this lad who's supposed to be decent, young, he's athletic, he's powerful. Let's have a look. Let's see what it's like. We need to be ideally, who I'd like to bring in, and I doubt it, will be Willis Sulu we had 2 years ago. I'd bring in someone like him. He's number 9. He's powerful, and then maybe
Warren sent him home, didn't he? Warren cancelled his loan.
I don't know what happened there, but I think he's decent. I think someone like that.
I think he's decent.
Yeah, I mean, we look over.
Mark, sorry, John.
No, I mean, midfield will look okay. I understand what people say about Warren, but we are where we are. It's our third year of being reborn, and we're in the Championship. Some teams, like Bolton, it took Portsmouth 10 years to get back to the Championship. Did it in 2. Yeah. I wanted to get it wrong. I don't like the football. I'd rather play pretty football like we did in McLaren. I want to be dominating teams, but realistically, it's not going to happen this year. We are what we are, but I still think we can get, if we get the impact right off the bench, we'll be fine for this season.
Mark, just to quickly add, I mean, one thing that flies under the radar, one of the things I like to keep an eye on is there's a hell of a lot of work and a lot of money and stuff being invested and spent outside of the first team with our academy. We've got a Category A academy. And we have brought in a lot of players, really exciting young players, actually. I won't bore you, but I've got the names of a few of them. But a couple of Ireland's under 17, under 18 internationals, a lad that came from Celtic's academy. It looks like we're attracting players back into our academy again. And our under 18s and under 21s are really competing now. Our under 18s, I think it was, beat Liverpool under 18s the other day, beaten quite well. So, so I think if you're looking for positives, it does look like Paul Warne and Klaus and are really putting a lot of effort into the academy, and it looks like it's been rebuilt again, and that's really encouraging.
I'm really feeling for you because all I read is lots of negativity on Derby. I hope Derby might switch that around, and I'm sure when the manager departs,
it's reactionary though, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Yeah,
so.
It absolutely is. And I suppose when you look at Portsmouth and you look at, their results and the happiness of their fans with their manager. And I suppose it's difficult to compare, isn't it? I suppose. All right, let's talk about Bristol City just briefly then. You seem to be playing teams you don't have a very good record against early on, and this is another one. 2 wins in 10. Again, not prolific. They're doing well as well this season. They should have beaten Coventry. They should have beaten Hull, and so actually should be with some of the top of the league. But they've got defensive issues. So how does he play this one, Lewis? He can't do the same against Watford. So do we go a bit more gung ho here, given that here's a fragile, a team that's great in attack, but with a fragile defence?
Yeah, I think we need to have our own identity at home and away. I think we saw what Fortress Pride Park could be again against Borough. I know it was probably score a goal in the first half and then defend for our lives afterwards. But I think our playing style at home will be very different. I do think we need to go for it. I absolutely hate the fact Bristol City come in because I do not like watching nightmares of previous times watching Bristol City versus Derby. It's just been not very good. But I think we are reborn. We're a new team. They might not be expecting too much, but we need to go for it. We don't need to just sit back and defend. We need to go for it. We're at home. We're the team. You come and beat us. Kind of mentality, personally.
All right then. Finally, before we finish, wanted to ask you: any of you remember what the best deadline day signing for Derby has been? Not the deadline day, but the last minute. Does anyone stick out? You can throw in some bad ones there as well. While they're thinking, put in the comments below if you can think of any.
Mikael Beck.
Any good.
Mikael Beck was a disaster. I remember that was in the days, Mark, where you used to have to phone up Team Talk and you'd spend like £2 a minute to find out. And they would say, "Hey, do you remember those times? That's how old I am."
I'm just shocked anybody actually did it. Yeah.
That was me. That was me. I phoned up to find out which one Mikael Beck. He was terrible.
A good one was from Everton, Leon Osman. 2004.
Yeah. Good.
Well,
Jacob,
just the last minute, but obviously Frank Lampard's influence, bringing Wilson, Tamori, and who was the other one?
Mason
Mount.
Mount. They were good signings. So let's hope these were brought in with decent signings.
My one friend who is a Derby fan reminded me of Chris Martin. I think his logo became a permanent one at the very last minute. I think one window. Obviously, went on to do pretty well for you.
We've lost players, Mark. That's where we've last minute, like Huddleston going, and we've lost. It sometimes hurts us that transfer window. So it'd be horrible. Cash in doesn't go.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us. I know there's lots of Derby content you can watch, but I appreciate your time watching this very quick and honest review, and appreciate all your times as well. Peyton, I'm sorry we lost you during that. If you can still hear us, drop us a comment below if you can beat anything that the team have said in terms of the worst transfers, best transfers on deadline day. And of course, next week we'll review how you've done against your bogey side, Bristol City. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you all next week.